So welcome to class number 2 of Uplift Your Head and Neck. And we're going to continue to work with self-massage for your neck and some of the base of your head area. We're going to do some other massage in the next 2 classes, but I really think it's valuable to learn how to do some self-massage, and it will also clarify your skeletal structure. So we're going to start again with some self-massage, and then we're also going to work with the wall. So you're going to need, you can use a t-shirt. I didn't mention that last time. You can use anything that's kind of smooth, because you're going to put this against the wall, and I just put it over my head because we're going to be rolling on a little more on your face today. Next week, even more. We're working more and more with the head. So you have something nearby that you can throw on the wall. You can also even use a hooded sweatshirt or a hat. So there's different things you can come up with. Okay, so let's start with activating your hands. And you're going to, I often interlace my fingers just so it gets a little more stimulation in your hands. Breathe through your nose. Relax your shoulders. Okay, and today we're going to do this a little differently. I'm going to have you, you're going to put your hands so it's supporting around the ear, elbow on the knee, and then you're going to take your other hand and we're going to stroke the tissue under your chin, okay? And you're going to pull with your fingers all the way to your collarbones, okay? And it's a gentle pull. It's almost the kind of touch you would do on your face. So it's not like we're trying to do deep tissue here. We're just warming and pulling on the fascia, the skin, kind of loosening and awakening the throat area. And today we're going to hum, okay? So you're going to go, breathe through your nose. You can play with the tone. You can make it higher or lower. Okay, and then let's do the side of your neck, and you're going to use the heel of your hand and kind of massage by pinching your finger and heel together and sliding up your neck as you're resting your head. So you can also hum. Try to relax the weight of your head into the hand that's resting on your leg. So and you're working, the fingertips go to the top of your skull, the base of the skull, as you squeeze together. And the fingertips also go toward the spinous processes, the back of your neck. Okay, so feel a difference there. And then let's go to the other side. So the hand cups around the ear, the jaw rests on the heel of your hand, so the weight of your head is resting. We're going to stroke under your chin. We did this in the breathing series, some humming and working a little bit with some massage in the neck for breathing. And working all the way to your collarbone. And if you've had whiplash, this is very, very healing, but be gentle. Don't stroke so deep, okay? It doesn't need to be super deep. And then now let's take the heel of your hand, fingertips toward the spine, and you're going to breathe in and then squeeze with your heel to slide up there. So let's see if I can show you a little bit. So you're sliding toward the spine. A couple more. Good. Okay, and now just check, very lightly touching your throat, and just see if it's feeling softer. That really, you can kind of just slightly stroke down for the lymph. Feel if that feels nicer to you. Okay, now we're going to do some massage. So you're going to lean your head, and with your hand this time, this is going to be against your chest. Your elbow and forearm is against your chest. Notice, I mean, our arms are designed to massage ourselves in our necks. It's just perfect. But anyway, so your hand is right over your throat. The chin rests in that V of your hand. Your other hand is on the heel of your jaw and around, like we did just a moment ago. But this time, you're going to make these circles where you're pushing a little under your chin with the heel of your hand, pushing up and then letting your head drop down. So you're pushing your head gently, not too hard, especially if you've had a whiplash or any kind of head injury. Go gentle with this process. Let the weight settle in your hand. And when you come back, you know, let your back, your chest can open a little bit. So it's not just your head here, it's also starting to connect with your upper chest a little bit as well. But the idea is that we're just gently moving, uplifting your head in this circular manner. And the truth is that you can do this better than a massage therapist or a chiropractor or anybody because of the angle that your hands are in. This is very exciting news. So you can really have some wonderful relief. So play a little bit with the position of this hand that's kind of cupping around your ear. Okay, and that's enough. We don't want to do too much. Okay, other side, so your hand goes on your throat, cup around your ear, lean the chin onto the heel of your hand, and very gently push up and then let it come down. And it's difficult, like I mentioned in the first class, to surrender the weight of your head to your hand, okay? And if you've ever had a baby or a little puppy or kitten, you know, fall asleep with their head heavy in your hands, there's nothing like it. But see if you can have this feeling of surrendering the weight coming down and gently lifting your head up. Okay, and then rest for a moment. Okay, so the connection of the skull to your neck, it's a very important connection. And there's some really powerful acupressure points along that skull line. And so what we're doing right now is just gradually working with our hands to help create more circulation through that area. It will help if you have headaches. It'll help move the fluid in the brain down. And it will also help your posture so your head can be more centered. Okay, here we do some more now. So now on either side, so the heel of your hand is under one jaw and then the other heel. Okay, and now we're going to do a little bit of lifting up from the elbow. And if you have difficulty doing this with two hands, you can do this one at a time, coming from underneath. But let's see if we can alternate. So we do one slow and then the other. And feel the bones as you do this. Feel this coming from underneath, okay? You can do it underneath, okay? And now let's make like a little circular movement so that you push up and then let your head come forward and down. And you could practice this on your dog or cat if you have a dog or cat. Sometimes they'll let you do this with them. Okay, rest for a moment. Okay, So now we're going to work a little bit with the back of your skull. And as I mentioned a moment ago, the back of the skull is such an important area. And it's often an area where we really hold a lot of tension. So you're going to reach with one hand to the back of your skull. The other hand is going to be on your forehead. And do this very gently, like you are a baby. Pretend you are an infant here, okay? And you're just playing with gently support yourself at the back of the skull the way you would hold a baby's head. And then very lightly, you're going to push your head up and then let it drop into your hand. So you're going to push it up, catch it with the back hand, and then let it drop down a little bit. And this connection between the two hands here, it's subtle, but it's pretty profound, so that you can kind of bounce your head in the front a little bit. See, can you let the weight rest in that palm of your forehead here, and then gently push with the elbow up and catch the weight in the back. Yeah, you can move the elbow a little up and down, and then let your head roll forward and bob your head a little bit. You can even squeeze the fingers of the back hand while you bob. Okay, and then let's switch. All right, so one hand right under the skull, where you could squeeze the muscles right underneath the back of the skull. The other hand, your elbow is going to be pointing downward, fingers pointing upward toward your hairline. And you're going to drop your head down into that hand. And let's just gently rock a little bit, a few times into that forward position, and then push up with the elbow. As you come up, then squeeze the back of your neck. You can look up with your eyes, and then let your head drop forward and bounce a little bit. Can you feel the bone of your skull, the forward forehead? And then push gently with the elbow coming up and squeeze the back of your neck. And now let's stop and rest. Now, sometimes I start with this move, and we're going to finish with this move. So you rub your hands, and now we're going to stroke your head down the back of your head, and then to the front of your throat, down your chest, down your hips, down the front of your legs, down to your feet, and then up the backs of the legs and to the belly. We finish at the belly. Okay, let's try that again. Rub your hands. So it's a big connecting movement. So you feel now from head to toe, literally. So stroking up and back your head, down your neck, then wrap around to the front of your throat, chest. Go slow over your stomach, slow over your hips. Relax your legs as you stroke down your thighs, knees, legs, feet, and then coming up the backs of your legs. Then come around and then go to your belly. And then let's make a circle around your belly to the left, down, coming up. Let's make one more around. And then just hold your hands on your belly for a moment. And breathe in and just relax your shoulders. Okay, so that is a wonderful little series of movements. If you have a headache or neck tension, it's wonderful to do. And any part of those movements that we did for the massage can be helpful. All right, so let's move on. And at some point in here, I have to talk about the geese because that's one of our nature themes. But we're going to work with the wall, so stay tuned about the geese. But I'm going to reposition this so you can get ready to work on the wall, get your t-shirt or whatever you're using. I'm using a neck gaiter. Put your gaiter on if you got one. we're going to start facing the wall to begin with. So you don't have to see, you can listen to the instructions, but if you need to turn around, I'll be doing the movements too. So you're going to put both hands on the wall, and you're going to put your forehead on the wall, and you're going to roll your head slowly to one side and just feel the movement along your forehead. And we're going to try to go in the middle part of the forehead, so between the eyebrow and the hairline today, and just going from your head to one side. Back to the middle, and then go to the other side. And don't go as far as you can go. Just go what's comfortable, because it'll get easier as we do this. So you're going to roll your head, and it's fine. Last class we played with shifting your weight from one leg to the other. Go ahead and do that right now, so you can feel your legs, the weight shifting from one foot to the other. And then see if you can have your feet so that they stay centered, and just do the shifting from your upper back, rolling from your upper back. Okay, so remember how we did that. And for now, just let your shoulders follow the movement so that your head is comfortable, that you're breathing, and that you're really surrendering the weight of your whole body into the floor and into the wall. All right. Okay, now let's make this movement so you move at a higher level on your head. So along the hairline, roll your head, and again, try to keep the weight even on both feet, but you're going to move your head along this hairline part of your forehead. So it's a different position of your head on the wall. And notice what that does to have your contact there. Okay, keep breathing. Go slowly and stop for a moment in the middle. And now put the point of contact right above your eyebrows, so that you start in the middle and roll your head. So you roll along above the eyebrow, and then come back, and then go to the other side, and go as easy as you can, keeping the weight fairly even over each foot, all right? And relaxing, giving the weight. Every now and then, let's tap your heel into the floor and see if that gives you a little bit more clarity of the bone contact as you do this. Okay. All right, wonderful. Okay, now let's stand, come away from the wall, and just walk around a little bit. Make sure you can see. So walk around. And then come back to your wall, and facing the wall, go ahead and face the wall, and let's just roll your head now and feel the contact against the wall. Your hands are on the wall. Roll your head and just see what kind of contact you have against the wall. All right. Good. Okay, now this time I'm going to have you roll against the wall, and let's go to one side. And when you get as far as it's comfortable, I want you to drop that hand that you're rolling toward and come to touch your shoulder. So you go a little sideways, and then you could move your foot so that you can kind of turn into the wall sideways and then come back. You got to slide your foot again and roll back to the center. So you're going to roll to one side. At one point, you're going to drop your hand and take your foot so you're sideways, and then the other hand, you can also take that down or leave it, depending on what you want to do. and then come back by bringing your hand back. Okay. Let's do the other side. So you're going to roll against the wall, and when you get close to where your shoulder is getting closer to the wall, you can drop that hand and bring that shoulder into the wall so that the side of your head right above the ear is touching the wall as well as the shoulder, and you can move that other foot, the opposite foot, to balance better now. So you can just even lean against the wall and press your head and your shoulder into the wall. And then let's come back and reaching with that hand, take your other hand up and back to the wall again, okay? So now see if you can go from one side to the other. So you were going to roll to one shoulder, drop that hand, come sideways so that your head is the side of your, above your ear is touching with the shoulder, and then bring that hand back up, rolling back to your forehead, and continue now to the other side. Drop that hand, move your leg so you're sideways and the side of your head and shoulder is touching the wall, and try to really drop your weight, okay? And then come back, reaching with that hand, bring the other hand up, coming to the wall. All right, now let's come away from the wall and just walk a little bit and see how that is. You should really feel the whole front and sides of your head in a new way. And can you sense your feet as well? Okay, so now let's take your head, so the back of your head is on the wall. Your pelvis is about 6 inches from the wall, maybe, or something like that. Your feet are about a foot away from the wall. Okay, and now we're going to roll your head like we did before. So the back of your head is against the wall. And we could spend a lot of time rolling on different parts of the back of your head. I'm not going to do that right now, okay? But we are going to get my thing ready here. We're going to roll the same way now. So you're going to your shoulder and the side of the ear. So you're staying in contact with the back of your head, the back of your chest, and going from one shoulder, and you have to move your legs around sideways and then come back. So this was the assignment last class, but I wanted to slow it down and do it with you, okay? So you're going to lean your head against the wall and roll from one shoulder, so the side of your head and shoulder are into the wall, keeping the contact, walking your legs along as you need to, breathing, dropping your weight, okay? And by the way, this is just a fabulous, fabulous tool for anxiety. It decreases anxiety very quickly because you will have a sense of support for your head. Okay, now I want you to continue working on this for next class and going all the way around. So now you've done the front, you've done the back. See if you can just keep walking around those transitions, all right? So that we get this sense of continuity around your head. So come away from the wall now, but that's your homework, okay? Now, I want you to take one hand in the front of your head and one hand on top of your head, okay? So feeling that. And we could have, just a minute, let me show this on the wall. So you can do this on the wall too, and you could roll your head so you can feel the top and the back of your head. I just want to point that out on the video so that later on you can play with this a little bit against the wall. And now and then when you're on the wall, put one hand on the very top and have your hand flat, because when you go like this, it's hard to know where is the top of my head. So keep your hand flat. Now put one hand behind your head, right? And then we're going to tap a heel. So tap a heel, tap a heel. Okay. Walk. Try walking now. You can bring your hands down. But I want you to walk a little bit around the room, and then maybe after 10 steps, stop and take one hand like behind your head, one hand on top of your head, and make sure they're different hands at different times. And just, you could take a step forward, a step back, put your hand in front. Okay. Play with that. Put your hand on the side. Okay. And just take a step forward, a step back. Okay. If you're a dancer, oh my gosh, this is such a fun little practice that will revolutionize and lighten your dancing, especially for turning, but just to be lighter on your feet for dancing. If you did this as a little warm-up, even if you're just modern dancing to rock and roll or something, your head will feel so light and you'll be much lighter on your feet for dancing, okay? So that might be fun to do after this lesson, is put some fun groove and music on and try some dancing. Okay, so let's come back to sitting and we're going to wrap this up. Just a few words about the nature assignment and thinking about geese, thinking about uplifting our heads during a time when it's easy to lose where we feel upright in our head. And I want you to just notice this week in nature, I want you to notice how the birds sing, okay? And depending on what time of year it is, whenever you watch this video, it's going to be different. But particularly in the spring and summer, there's a lot of birds singing territorial calls and songs. And to notice this very uplifting and the voice coming out of the bird, it's this gorgeous thing. And if you watch geese, you know, they have this super long neck, you know, like this video or this photo, you can see the long neck of the trumpeter swan there. You know, they have this really long neck and then they, you know, make this trumpet sound. But to feel this lengthening so that your voice can really flow. And you might feel some changing happening in your self-expression, in not only the sound of your voice, but the ability to speak, the ability to express yourself. And look to nature and see this week what you notice in the natural world, particularly with birds. And these big giant birds, you know, it's like, how do they even fly? They're so heavy. And they, you know, singing when they fly too, which is awesome. But notice in your natural environment this uplifting of the head. And birds are a symbol of awareness. They also raise the vibration around us. So if you really listen to their song, it will uplift your head. Okay. All right. So that's my little conclusion. So I want you to practice some of these massage tools a little bit, practice going around on the wall and seeing if you can get more clear connection of the full circularness of your head when you're walking. Okay. And it will really change your life to be able to feel your head on top of the world. It really helps one's self-esteem. It'll help your outlook. Okay, so that's it for this class. And now I'm going to open it up for questions and bonus material. How is everybody? How was that for you today? And how was your week? Just any reports. We'll take some reports from people. If you're in a public place where like an airport or a place that may not be so clean, I just put my jacket. So the back of my jacket is on the wall, and then I have my face on the inside of the jacket, and you know, that's pretty darn good. So there's some really clever ways that you can modify things to make it safe, particularly now with COVID and public places. If you are in a situation where a lot of times we are waiting sometimes in situations for long periods, so it can be a huge relief, you know, having your back against the wall and playing a little bit against the back of the wall and stuff like that. So yeah,
Thank
thanks
you.
for sharing that. That's good. Well, and you know, I do this work all the time, and I had an accident, a really bad accident in 2016 now, and it's been just like doing that core class. I was like, oh, you know, I was remembering this fall out of a tree and things that I've had that were pretty horrendous. But you will uncover some old things doing these very gentle I mean, it's a very backdoor approach what we're doing, and you might be sore, back off, you know, rest, but I'd encourage you to keep playing with it. What I have found with this material, and that's so nice we have the recordings, is that if you do the class a few times, it'll get easier and you'll come with more awareness. And if you can touch, you know, really work on this touch, like if you touch your face, you know, with, and we're going to do, my next series is actually going to work with the face, because I feel like, I think it's the quickest route to developing soft hands. And so we're going to go to the face next, because it'll really give you skillful hands. But the touch, you know, when you touch your face, you get that quick feedback, whether your hands are rough or soft. And we almost tend to touch our faces the way we would a baby. Okay. But not everybody's gentle with babies. But, you know, you'll be more gentle than you would touching your ass, you know. so, so, you know, it's a starting
So you're
point.
so sure about that, are you?
It's a starting point. And you know, so we want that quality with our necks. But, you know, when you're touching your throat, you can tell you don't have to, you know, do it very hard at all. And your throat's very responsive. That's because it's so open. You know, there's nothing here other than some thin muscles. And then you've got arteries, veins, trachea, and esophagus. I mean, it's pretty open in our neck. So have respect for this open area. And then it will start to feel less vulnerable, because your energy will be more filled in there. And your voice and this main chakra area will be cleaner, so that you know, all of us have baggage, okay? Things where we didn't say things, or we held some emotions that wanted to come out, or we were angry, or whatever it was. And so this, be gentle with this area and the back of the neck as well, okay? Because that has been holding you up. And especially if you've been depressed or dejected or shamed, and you know, all kinds of strong emotions like that. Oh, to feel the support coming from the back of your head is just, you know, so uplifting. So give it some time. We all have different wounds and different stories. Some of it's more physical, some of it may be more mental or psychological or, you know, psychic, but just give it some time. And just even this light stroking, yeah, but not too much, just a little now and then. Very profound. And I only stayed 4 weeks, because if we did more, we'd need to all go into psychotherapy, you know. It's just too much gets kicked up too much. It's just too much to process. So we just do a little bit, and then you can come back and do more of this work, okay? So we just open the windows, get things airing out a little bit, you know. It's decluttering little by little. Yeah. It's no fun if we just in the trenches all day long, it's no fun. When it gets too big, you can stroke it down.
Yeah,
Kind of move the energy down. So you don't walk out like this, There is a purpose to everything I'm doing. Like this kind of stroking down, though, if you have too much circulation in the head, we can overstimulate or have a headache from too much blood. We want the blood to go back down. If you're a person that gets headaches a lot, really open those channels down. And some of the other series that we've done with the breathing or the clearing fear really help move the energy down toward the feet. And this one is, I'm trying to do that too, but where there's so much emphasis on the head, it might be bringing it up for some people. So thanks for bringing that up to me. It depends on the migraines. There's some migraines that are pretty hormonal, but hormones are very related to what we do and what we think. So, I think, yes, I think it would help all headaches, but be careful with if you have migraines and a real sensitive, headache response, do less, don't do it for so long of a period, and see if we can just kind of gradually, it's like hurting something, changing an old pattern of reactivity in the body. And there's so many different causes to migraines, whether it's a thought pattern or emotion or a physiological response or, temperature, barometric pressure, food. There's a lot of things that trigger migraines. So, but awareness is our friend. And the more we're aware of these triggers, and then we respond, if say, you ate chocolate or whatever that triggers a migraine, that you quickly, even just like, I'm sorry, there's that Ho'oponopono healing practice in Hawaii, it's I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. That's the Ho'oponopono in a nutshell.
Right.
But to really respond to these triggers that occur, and then I'm giving you all these different hands-on tools, and look how immediate they are. Of just you're feeling your head like, oh man, I'm getting a headache, and then you just be calm about it like you would a baby. Yeah. And you find support. Don't overstimulate the baby, right? What do you do with the baby? You hold the baby and you stroke the baby, you rock the baby. So with our nervous system, and a migraine is like a baby that's crying, and you don't want to shake the baby and say, stop crying, you make that baby feel so safe. And that's, go in a dark room, be quiet, no stimulation, calm, stop the response as soon as you can. And then it'll happen with more and more awareness. That's my, I'm not an expert on migraines, but that's what I would say. I mean, are there people here with migraines that can add anything? There is one migraine massage, and I'll do it next class. But I'll just tell you right now real quickly, is that there's a suture line where the bones of the cranium join around your ear. It's about a finger's width around the ear is where the suture line is. And you can almost feel it's kind of, there's little grooves in there, or there's I don't know, it's tender. But I'll talk about it next time a little bit, but you can massage around this line, and then it ends in this fabulous acupressure point right at the base of the skull. So there's this line around the ear that ends there, and you can do, earlier we were talking about Tellington Jones, the T-touch. You can do these little circle and a quarters movements with your finger. I used to do just circles, but now it's circle and a quarter. They've done studies to show that's better. But do these little circles around that suture line, and it'll open the circulation for the cranial fluid to move. And that doesn't work on all headaches, but it works a lot. And it's a nice, and again, your hands are just right there. So easy to do, you know, it's. Linda Tellington-Jones, who's done this Feldenkrais work with animals, has found that if you do a circle and then a quarter, there's a stronger response both in the nervous system and in the fascia. It opens up the fascial plane and somehow calms the nervous system more than just one complete circle. You go an extra quarter and it's, I don't know why. I mean, we could probably conjecture what the reason is. But she's done all kinds of studies with it and seems to be true. So, and it's being used now all over the world, this little method of hers. It's wonderful. Yes, and like I say, the next series will be helpful for the hands, but we're gonna work with the face and work with flowers. So that'll be our nature theme, working with flowers far out. Yeah. So that's, I'm giving a little preview to that, but it's so perfect after we've worked with the head, then to work more detail with the face. And of course, our faces, especially now with COVID, you know, we're going to do a lot with the eyes and eyebrows, you know, because that's all we get to communicate with these masks on. Oh, man. Oh, it's incredible. So let's play with this, and we'll do some more of that. That's a good point. Put one hand under your elbow.
Yeah.
So you can kind of drop your weight into the elbow, okay? Yeah. And then I want you to just push your head with your hand, and then push your hand with your head. So do one and then the other. So it's like a seesaw. Push your head into your hand, and then push your hand into your head. Okay, try the other side. Hold your elbow first, drop your head into your elbow, push your head with your hand, and then push your hand with your head. Not too hard, but see if you can distinguish the difference. And then you could push them both at the same time. Okay, try that, both at the same time. Yeah, you can do that from any position. You could push your head into your hand, push your hand onto your head. You know, push your head into your hand, push your hand onto your head. They're different movements. They require a different organization in the brain, and it will also, you know, wrestlers and football players do this a lot. They do a lot of head strengthening, but not in a Feldenkrais kind of way. So what I'm showing you is a much more supple feeling of support in your head. And we'll do more next time. You know, by the fourth class, your head is going to feel a lot stronger, you know, and longer, you know, more like the geese. So, okay. So your assignment, just to review, is to practice going all the way around on the wall. Okay. And you can play a little bit too with the different parts of your forehead, okay? When you do this at home, go slowly and don't do too much at a time. There's a tendency when you're not supervised to go fast. And my trick with that, when you're by yourself, is to tune into breathing as you do it. And the breath slows down the movement. It'll help you pace yourself so you don't zoop, zoop, you know, go really quickly. And stopping periodically through the movement will help you slow down. Okay. So that's the one thing. And then walk with one hand on your head, and then play a little bit with walking in different ways, and put your hands down in between each time again. So you're giving your body clear sensation messages. Yeah. Instead of, it's sort of like eating like this. If you just go like this, you know, it's like you know, you just want to savor one bite at a time, do one movement at a time. And, you know, you don't have to do them all in one practice. So that's a fun practice. And then seeing, you know, maybe do a full turn on the wall if you have the space. And then the massage business, you know, playing very gently with that. I'll have the video out for that if you want to kind of be walked through that again. And then see what happens in nature this next week. See who visits you or what you notice. It may not necessarily be a goose or a swan, depending on where you live, but it might be a bird. And, you know, observe how they sing, observe what you notice with those flying long-necked creatures. Yeah. So the tapping of the heel, it's a quick way to ground. It's like a grounding rod, but it's also will connect, especially with your hand on your head. This hand, if you even sitting here, and I did this in the morning class, so I'll do it again here. If you put one hand under your sit bone, and we did this in the back series, the vital back series, we did it also in the breathing series, I think too, but put one hand under your sit bone and then one hand on the top of your head, okay? And now tap your heel, and you're creating a neurological connection from your hands to your foot, okay? When we stand, we don't have to put our hands on our butt, but when we sit, it'll give you that full skeletal connection. And then the muscles, they relax. And the more you practice, it happens like that. The relaxation and then the grounding connection of the bones into the ground is really profound, you know. So when I'm out in nature, if I lie on the earth, you know, I feel my bones on the earth, you know, I really feel them. And that is a way of deepening this relaxation that we're going for in all of these lessons. And the tapping of the heel, even with shoes on, it directs you into a sort of this vertical but grounded connection with the earth. It's immediate, and the more we practice with all these different lessons in different ways, you'll keep refining that ability. And it's like beam me up, Scotty. You know, it's so quick to energize, to be really present. Yeah. And it's fun. I enjoy, you know, these quick things that bring us to the present. Okay. So you got some fun little things to play with for next week. They work in collective. They protect one another. And during this COVID time, this is my message for the geese this week. During this COVID time where, you know, we're very isolated, and it's not the normal human condition to not be more social than we are right now. It's not normal for us to be so far apart. And with geese, they survive as a collective, not because of one goose, but the communication that goes on among them. Their voices are what keep them alive. Their calling to one another keeps them alive, warns them when the eagle's approaching or the other predator. And as human beings, I think this is such an important message in this time right now. We need one another to call one another, to reach out. And the other thing that was really cool in my research about geese is if one is injured, a bunch of the group will go and stay with the injured goose until it's healed, and they'll escort him back to the flock. What a beautiful message. As human beings, I feel like that is what we do as humans. We have that you see it being enacted now, but it's encouraging to see this played out in this amazing animal that is a miracle, that it's so freaking heavy. How can it fly? How can it defend itself? You know, all it's got is its voice and its wings. So our voices You know, we're not really burly animals. We've got this amazing brain. That's our main defense, and these beautiful hands. But we have this voice, okay? And so uplifting our heads and neck, communicating with each other, taking turns. That's the other thing about the message of the geese. There's not one leader. When the leader gets tired, another one takes over, and then another. That is the new social thing that's going on, you know. Humans, we're taking turns with leading right now. And I think society is shifting. And I'm very encouraged by what I'm seeing. You know, there's got to be a different way to make it in survival as humans. And I think we need each other more than ever. And that's the message from the geese this week. So there you go. Yeah. We'll have two more classes with this topic, and then we get to look forward to flowers after that. So that'll be nice. I think it'll be lovely, a nice thing to go into. So have a wonderful week.
You too.
And I'll look forward to seeing you next week. All right.